Coming in hot with the highly requested 43X MOS versus the Palmetto State Armory Dagger Micro Glock Perfection right here versus the best deals on the internet, Palmetto State Armory. Starting off with the specs, man, it's like looking in a dirty mirror. Look at that little guy right here. Both have an overall length of 6.5 inches, a height of 4.7 inches, a width of 1.1 inches, a 3.41 inch barrel length. Both come ready with a Shield RMSC type footprint for red dot mounting. As you can see here, this one actually does have a Shield RMSC. This one has a Holosun 407K. Virtually almost everything about these systems are identical spec-wise anyways. A few key differences. The PSA Dagger Micro right here comes standard with a 15-round Palmetto made hybrid mag. As you can see here, it is going to be a steel magazine with a front polymer plate, so you can actually utilize it with Glock 43X's and all other models like it without changing out the actual magazine release by itself. The Glock, however, comes with the 10-round mags, as you can see right there. The Glock 43X weighs approximately 16.4 ounces without the magazine, while the Dagger Micro weighs 15.9 ounces. I would be lying if I said I can feel the difference, but I can't really feel the difference, honestly. The Dagger Micro does feel a little bit better inside my hand, straight from the box though. The Dagger Micro has a hinge type trigger, kind of like this one right here, clear. Right there, if you can actually see that, which is a little bit flatter than the 43X's slightly curved rounded trigger safety. If we can take a look right there, kind of curves around. It does feel a little bit more comfortable on the Glock side though, that I can say for sure. And the biggest functionally different thing is going to be the RMSC type footprint, because the Palmetto State Armory only comes with 2 front nubs for the RMSC type footprint, which allows it to actually directly mount the Holosun 407K. However, with the Glock MOS like this one, it actually gets 4 nubs on the 4 corners. For some odd reason, they actually put it on there. I understand it was for the Shield RMSC. However, with that being said, it hinders the amount of things that you can actually do with it, especially without an adapter plate. On a side note, the Dagger Micro also came with 2 different types of screws, 2 different sizes anyways, because they offer a direct mount to the slide. With that being said, if you do a direct mount and you use the same screw sizes, wherever you see that right there, the extractor rod actually comes through this way. If you use the same screws for both of them, essentially what happens is that same size screw is going to push against that extractor rod, causing you to have failure to ejects. Happens a lot, happens to a lot of new shooters because they're not really familiar with what the hell is going on there. Palmetto State Armory is aware of this issue, so they gave a smaller screw on this end so you don't have to file one down from Holosun. Good on you on that one, okay? I really appreciate that on the Palmetto State side. The stock Dagger Micro even comes with an undercut right there for a slightly higher grip than the 43X, and it does make a huge improvement. As we can see, Palmetto really took their time with this one, especially while keeping the consumer in mind. Now, with all that being said, the real question is, do they shoot the same? Through a rigorous scientific method of going to the range with a poorly planned range day, I was able to get off a whopping 200 rounds of 115 grain blazer for this video. It would be fantastic if y'all subscribe so I can afford more ammunition, but let's get to it. Now, just doing the basic test, we have the Glock 43X. First, we're just gonna see if they compare pretty decently. Glock 43X. Pretty decent on that side. Next up, we're gonna test the Dagger Micro. 15 rounds, should take a little longer.
That took a while on that one. The next test is gonna be accessory compatibility. For here, we see a Bravo concealment holster made for the Glock 43X MOS. As you can see, fits perfectly fine. Retention's gonna be good. You can still draw from it. When we move over to the Dagger Micro, holsters just fine and retains just fine. And if you actually need it for concealment, it's gonna work perfectly fine as well. No problem. Switching over to the 43X. Works just the same. Next up is gonna be inside the waistband holsters. Is it concealable? Absolutely it is. 43X, no problem. Now taking a look at the Dagger Micro. Concealable? Still the same. Right here. Still good as well. As you can see, we still have more ammunition on this one because the Dagger Micro comes with more capacity. Now, since both of them are very similar and they're supposed to be within spec with each other, next up what we're gonna try is swapping the slides over, see how well they fare with each other. First up, what we're gonna have, we have the 43X frame with the Dagger Micro slide assembly. It also has that 15-round mag to see how well it actually feeds with each other. Works pretty darn good. Moving on to the next test. Next up, what we have here is the Dagger Micro frame with the 43X slide assembly and also the 43X magazine. All 10 rounds, no problem. They seem to work perfectly fine with interchanging parts. Lastly, we're just going to swap magazines, keep everything OEM except for the magazines, see how they fare up with each other. 43X MOS with 43X slide. PSA Dagger Micro magazine, 15 rounds. Rounds takes a while to shoot, not gonna lie on that side. The best way to reload is by getting that same gun out. Ten rounds kind of goes by kind of fast, especially with this little guy. Now from afar, you can't necessarily see which one's which. This one's the Dagger, this one's the 43X. Hup, hup. They both look the same from afar. Spec-wise, they are pretty much identical. Now, when we get a little bit closer right there, you can start telling which one's which. Palmetto did a fantastic job with this clone. They both shoot fantastically. Both of them have been run dry this whole shooting session. So, no malfunctions so far from either or. Overall, it's a hoot to shoot.
Final thoughts, PSA Dagger Micro versus 43X MOS. Both are phenomenal. You can't really beat Glock's perfection. However, Palmetto State Armory did make a phenomenal clone. 15 rounds of the capacity. Pretty much with the red dot and everything, you can probably get these things for about 500 buckaroos. With an OEM with nothing on here on the 43X side from Glock direct from manufacturer, you're probably still paying roughly about 500, 550 for just the firearm alone. However, with the RMSC, for some odd reason, I don't know why the RMSC is so damn expensive, but you're going to be paying roughly about $700 for the whole set for the firearm. You can get away with it a little bit with the Glock Blue Label program that is straight from factory. It is a veterans, law enforcement, firefighters, first responder discount. See your eligibility, you'll be able to see them. I was able to commandeer this 43X MOS for give or take 480 bucks. So pretty decent deal. If you're on a budget, I would still consider the PSA Dagger Micro. The PSA Dagger Micro just works. Oddly enough, I was super surprised by this thing. It absolutely just works. It's a great buy. There's no telling in terms of longevity yet. I've only shot roughly about 200 rounds per firearm so far. More than likely, the Glock is probably gonna outlast the Dagger Micro, but time will tell. I'm gonna carry the Dagger Micro for a couple months and see how it actually goes. It's cheap, inexpensive, it feels great inside the hand, it shoots great, and I haven't experienced any malfunctions yet. Okay. All right, guys, if you haven't done so already, I would really greatly appreciate it if you liked, shared, and subscribed. Write down in the comment section below what you think I should do next. I'll do my best to get those things arranged for you. Link in the bio is going to be a website, Amphibian Customs. If you need any more information, by all means, utilize that. Coded down here, use code SHORTSHOT for 10% off all products in that link in the bio. And as always, thanks for stopping by.